So mental health and tolerance, mental health, that it has two parts to it. That is the part, the kind of suicidal part, and a kind of homicidal part, the two extremes of it. The anger and the sorrow, you know. Um, and I think being intolerant or getting uber focused on a particular cause or a particular people, like when I first found the path of heathenry and I joined Asatru UK and actually was co-founded um, the the roots of what the group is now, you know, you're almost encouraged to go out. And there's one particular person who came after me last year, just after my dad's funeral, the Heathen Eye, who are intent on seeking out and exposing folkish and racist heathens, But isn't that hate? Isn't that hate in itself? Isn't that preaching hate? Isn't that being worse than what it is you're allegedly standing for? Like, why does it matter? Like, I was raised not really to be tolerant, but really to not define people by what they look like, but define them by their actions. So I don't actually care what race people are. I don't care about what sexual identity they are. I just don't care enough about it, really, to have an opinion either way, But I, in my background, having associations, so we say, with other races. Now, I banged a lot of people before I met my husband, lots of different races. Do you know what I mean? And, you kind of get caught up in their opinion as well. So I've been angry towards racists, you know what I mean? And to the point of being incredibly intolerant. And I remember while I was still a member of Asatru UK, there was a split within the Troth, I believe. Don't take my word for it, because I'm not entirely 100% sure it was that. But it was about this split about being tolerant and accepting folkish heathens, not neo-Nazi heathens, because that's the extreme, isn't it? But folkish heathens who, have an opinion that it is a folk religion, and those who are like, no, we can't do that. And somebody came up, and I cannot remember the name, said, but that is being intolerance. So you are becoming the animal yourself, And I actually agree with that thoroughly. I've been accused of being a racist, even. I mean, come on, my daughter's half black. Being a racist, homophobe, Islamophobe. Well, I wasn't scared of Muslims when I was banging them, but anyway, and all those things. And it seems like there is so much fear within the heathen community and the pagan community, for that matter, of being accused of being racist or intolerant or blah blah blah. More so than, like, it's so much worse to be racist than to even be a paedophile. Do you know what I mean? And I see some of these events, and in fact, when I was on the council for running the Asgardian, I said that we needed more security at night to protect people, because the larger a community, the more criminal element will come in. And it's something I've noticed at festivals. They just don't seem to have night marshals, and without night marshals, women could get raped, children can get hurt. They're just not a lot of wisdom in that. You've got to be smart about things. But anywho, I digress again. But it's it seems to be, oh, it's okay if you're a paedophile or rapist or sexist, as long as you're not a racist. It's great. Anywho, let me try and get back to the point, because this isn't really about talking about my history with the Asatru UK. That's over now. I've got nothing to do with them. Couldn't care less about them. It's done. But it's more about this idea of community, and actually that does have something to do with my time with Asatru UK, in so much as they did tend to use me as a weapon, and they're not the first. But because I have misused my psychic gift, I can see things in people. And like know things about people, and be a case of, oh, this guy's being a dick, go and sort them out, Esther, which is my birth name, by the way. And I would, and they used me as a weapon in that sense. So I know what it is to be self-righteous, to be angry, to be cruel, because I have been. I am flawed. I have a flawed history, you know. But, you know, when you become wise to it, you know, I've softened, you know, like I don't always engage or confront people who are being awful to other people. And you know, when I've joined groups, you know, I've been kicked out or or had or what do you call it, a suspension. That's it. Merely for, you know, one group, this guy put up a picture of his wand and he had runes written on it, and it said Wand Gad, you know, with an A rather than an O. And I genuinely thought, oh, is there a reason for it? Because the biggest thing I've sought throughout my life is enlightenment. I get that a lot from my dad, you know, wanting to figure things out. Why is it that way? How does it work? How did it get to be like that? You know, which is why, you know, I'm sure you've seen other videos where I've sort of said, you know, in my mind, this is how it happened, especially with the runes. You know, how did they become esoteric from an alphabet, you know? If I haven't done that yet, I'll do a specific one on that if I remember, you know. But yeah, so I genuinely thought, is there a reason for that I don't know? Is there perhaps a culture that spells it that way? And the next thing I know, I'm blocked, banned, kicked out. And a lady that I'd befriended through the group, has become almost a sister to me, said, oh no, it's because you questioned them and they felt you were being like arrogant, nasty. You know, it's like even when I don't try, I offend someone by asking a genuine question. And, you know, I've pulled away a lot, but I've sort of had one foot in and one foot out of the mainstream, the general pagan community. I've got a lot of very close pagan friends that I've met through these communities, and perhaps that's the reason why, you know. But this latest one, and I'm probably running out of time here, so I think I'll get onto that in a minute. So really this video is about if you want to be tolerant, if you want to proclaim you are tolerant, you need to understand that intolerance or intolerant people is part of that. You don't have to like what they say. You don't have to like their opinion. But if they are not hurting anybody, then why is it any of your business? Why is it your cause to shut them down? You know? I know writing is very difficult to understand with clarity, which is why I always try and put with respect or in my mind. It's just my opinion, or truly, I honestly mean it this way, etc. You know, I try and speak with clarity because people misunderstand me all the time, you know. If you are going to be on a path of enlightenment, you are going to have questions, you know. And those questions are not necessarily coming from a toxic place. Ask for clarity. You know what I mean? And just because somebody has a reputation, right, it doesn't mean they are what people say they are, you know? So be truly tolerant by not being self-righteous and arrogant, because that only breeds ignorance. And if you want to be an ignorant person, you be that, you know. But if you want to say that you're enlightened and you're seeking spiritual and life enlightenment, you know, don't ask for clarity, you know, and then react. Anyway, on to the next video. So I guess this one's mental health and tolerance. I can't remember what the last one was, but anyway, see you in a moment.